Chapter 2311, Meng Qiuzhen's Crisis. Chapter 2311, Meng Qiuzhen's Crisis. Although Giant Sun Immortal Venerable participated in the battle, he had been preserving his strength. He wanted to save his immortal essence and continue to hide his trump cards while making Star Constellation and Fang Yuan expend each other's immortal essence. Although Fang Yuan's situation was bad and was in a disadvantage, he was actually making gains constantly. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable could not take it anymore. Giant Sun was an immortal venerable, he would not be easily deceived by the advantage they had right now. Fang Yuan, take this move. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable shouted as he used two killer moves, Lingering Scrap Luck and Accumulated Return, in succession. Lingering Scrap Luck's activation was extremely fast, Fang Yuan could not dodge it. It was because Giant Sun Immortal Venerable used this move towards himself and not on Fang Yuan. Faint golden fog curled up around Giant Sun Immortal Venerable. But the next moment, this golden fog appeared indescribably on Fang Yuan's body. Fang Yuan was startled for a moment before understand the profundity in this move. When Giant Sun Immortal Venerable fought with Fang Yuan, their luck continued to entangle and form a close connection like a bridge. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable acted based on this and easily sent Lingering Scrap Luck to Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan also had high luck path attainment and immediately saw through this. But his luck path attainment was far inferior to Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's. Even if he saw through this profundity, it was hard for him to stop it. Lingering Scrap Luck killer move coiled around Fang Yuan's body, constantly scrapping his luck. Reverse Flow Protection Seal was triggered at this moment and reflected Lingering Scrap Luck killer move. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable was happy to see this, he coordinated with Reverse Flow Protection Seal and let this backlash reach him by following their connected luck. Accumulated Return killer move showed its effect, increasingly the density of his surrounding golden fog. The slightly denser golden fog followed the connection of the luck and returned to Fang Yuan's body. Lingering Scrap Luck killer move was reflected once again by Reverse Flow Protection Seal, and was again strengthened by Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's accumulated return before it returned to Fang Yuan's body again. As this back and forth action continued, Lingering Scrap Luck's power continued to grow. Fang Yuan had a solemn expression. Venerables could not be underestimated. It was not only Star Constellation Immortal Venerable who thought of a counter to Reverse Flow Protection Seal, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable also did the same. Comparatively, as a Wisdom Path Gu Immortal, Star Constellation Immortal Venerable's method was even more thorough as it directly bypassed Reverse Flow Protection Seal. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's method was not thorough, he chose a different approach which was to imitate Reverse Flow Protection Seal. Reverse Flow Protection Seal could reflect attacks, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable also reflected them back. With the two linked moves, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable gained an advantage. Simply because Lingering Scrap Luck killer move was becoming increasingly strong, even if Reverse Flow Protection Seal could reflect it, Reverse Flow River had a fixed amount of water. While both sides had not reached the limit, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable achieved his goal of using his immortal essence to expend Reverse Flow River. Reverse Flow Protection Seal was very hard to deal with indeed. In the past fights with Fang Yuan, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable had used all kinds of attacks to trigger Reverse Flow Protection Seal and expend Reverse Flow River. Now, he was using Lingering Scrap Luck and Accumulated Return together. It was much more efficient than directly attacking. Using Immortal Essence to expend a secluded domain of heaven and earth was also a huge gain. After all, it was much easier to accumulate Immortal Essence than to restore Reverse Flow River. Fang Yuan was shocked and furious. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable, I will definitely pay you back for this. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable looked at Fang Yuan and sighed inwardly that he felt that it was unwise of Fang Yuan to fight for the Heaven Path Dream Realms. However, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable thought about it and understood the reason behind his decision. After all, Heaven Path Dream Realms are resources that can overturn the contest of the Venerables. If these Heaven Path Dream Realms are changed to a Rank 9 Blood Path Immortal Gu, Blood Path or even Luck Path secluded domain of heaven and earth, I will be blinded by greed too. Looks like Fang Yuan plans to develop Heaven Path. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable used his hidden methods to further suppress Fang Yuan. On the other side, Star Constellation Immortal Venerable finished preparing her killer move. Boundless Azure Radiance spread as she activated the move. The radiance shone on the dream realms. The heaven path dream realms went berserk, their shape distorted constantly like a spasm, turning into dough that was kneaded constantly. Oh no, star constellation Immortal Venerable actually has a method to target the dream realms. A sharp light flashed across Fang Yuan's eyes. He immediately cancelled reverse flow protection seal, only using obscured heavenly secret and heavenly web protection veil to forcibly endure Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's attack while rushing toward star constellation Immortal Venerable. After Fang Yuan's clone, Meng Qiuzhen, entered the heaven path dream realm, his vision changed. Shortly after, he found that he had turned into a land spirit in the shape of a pink cloth doll. Meng Qiuzhen was not surprised. He snickered and began to use his power to change and manage this blessed land in the dream. Different from Fairy Ziwei and Ning Wuxie, Meng Qiuzhen came fully prepared. Since Fang Yuan took the initiative to make a move, he naturally made sufficient preparation. Although he could not fully understand the complexities of the heaven path dream realms with stealing heavenly secret, he had a clear idea of the general rules in the dream realms. Meng Qiuzhen tested for a while and learned the limit of his capabilities. Immortal Killer Move, Butterfly Explores Heavenly Secret. This move used Dream Path Investigative Immortal Gu Dream Butterfly as the core. It was based on exposing Heavenly Secret Killer Move and was specifically made to be used in Heaven Path Dream Realms. It could obtain the details of the calamities and tribulations in Heaven Path Dream Realms in advance. This move was one of the preparations Fang Yuan made. After Meng Qiuzhen used this move, he knew the details of the first earthly calamity. But he was not satisfied as he used the move another 2 times, expending a lot of immortal essence to probe the types and scale of the next 2 earthly calamities. This was different from exposing heavenly secret. Exposing heavenly secret could only explore the details of the next calamity and tribulation. Moreover, the Gu cultivator could not be too far away from the next tribulation. But Butterfly Explores Heavenly Secret could probe the details of the next 3 calamities. Naturally, this number was related to the power of the killer move as well as the size of the Heaven Path Dream Realm. After finishing all this, Meng Qiuzhen began to manage the blessed land. There was only a rock field before him, flat and lifeless. He assembled wind and cloud to accumulate lightning and bombarded the rock field. 30% of the rock field was blasted away, the remaining portion was filled with cracks and ravines. Meng Qiuzhen stopped the lightning and began to control the strength of the land. The rock field that had lost 30% of its area was no longer as compact as before. After resisting for a while, it finally began to tremor slightly. The tremors continued to grow bigger until deep trenches formed. After the earth trenches formed, Meng Qiuzhen moved wind and clouds again, accumulating heavy clouds. But this time, he did not create lightning but heavy rain. There were very few water path Dao marks in this Heaven Path Dream Realms blessed land, which was not favorable to Meng Qiuzhen's plan. But under Meng Qiuzhen's continuous effort, rainwater accumulated, finally overflowing out of the earth trenches and covering the rock field. After finishing all these, Meng Qiuzhen calculated the time and noticed that he had already spent a lot of time. It was nearing the first earthly calamity. He activated Create Dream Killer move to create countless firm rock spikes out of nothing. When he almost changed the whole rock field into a land of spikes, the first earthly calamity arrived. It was a desolate beast calamity. A ferocious 4-armed ape intruded the blessed land. It roared as it fixed its gaze at Meng Qiuzhen and ran towards him. Meng Qiuzhen was a land spirit but had no ability to teleport, so he was chased by the 4-armed ape everywhere. Looking at the 4-armed ape not giving up on him and destroying countless earth spikes wherever it passed by, Meng Qiuzhen did not panic. Instead, he smiled slightly. Everything was within his plan. The 4-armed ape rampaged for a while before its whole body became covered in injuries and blood. This stimulated its bestial nature. It became increasingly berserk and its speed finally surpassed Meng Qiuzhen's. Meng Qiuzhen was already prepared. He stopped running on the ground and drilled into the earth trenches. His size was small, and although the 4-armed ape was agile, it was as large as an elephant. It was stopped outside. It stretched its long arm into the earth trench but could not grab onto Meng Qiuzhen. Meng Qiuzhen even easily experienced the power of a land spirit. In fact, this was an extremely rare and valuable experience. Gu immortals were not land spirits, they might be the owner of their immortal aperture but their control over their own immortal aperture was far lower than land spirits or heavenly spirits. It was like how Fang Yuan had to spread his divine sense to the whole of sovereign immortal aperture to inspect the situation. Land spirits or heavenly spirits were formed by Gu immortal obsessions fused with the immortal aperture's heavenly power. In this sense, land spirits and heavenly spirits were one with the immortal aperture. The Gu immortals' obsession gave them their spirituality. Land spirits and heavenly spirits had an extremely deep understanding and control over the immortal aperture. Fang Yuan had to use perceivable Dao immortal Gu or such methods to inspect the number of his Dao marks. But land spirits or heavenly spirits could easily know it, they only had to concentrate slightly and they would know the number and distribution of the Dao marks. This chasing and escaping situation continued for several days. Meng Qiuzhen had no injuries, but the four-armed ape was heavily injured and died after exhausting all its strength. After it died, Meng Qiuzhen used wind and rain to decompose its blood and flesh, before using lightning to turn its bones into scraps that he then buried the bones underground. All the strength path Dao marks were quickly added to the blessed land. After finishing all these, Meng Qiuzhen opened his small dull palm and crushed a small rock. Meng Qiuzhen nodded with joy. The land spirit strength was connected to the heavenly power of the small world. What was the foundation of the heavenly power? It was the Dao marks in the immortal aperture. After passing the four-armed ape desolate beast earthly calamity, the blessed land strength path Dao marks surged which increased Meng Qiuzhen's strength. He could crush these firm rocks which he had not been able to do earlier. Crushing the rock pieces was only a small display. Meng Qiuzhen gathered his strength and stirred the water surface, creating huge waves. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 23:12, Profundity of the Heaven Path Dream Realm. Chapter 23:12, Profundity of the Heaven Path Dream Realm. Waves continued to strike the rocky land, flooding and breaking the land including the earth spikes. Earth trenches were already submerged in water, the underwater force continued to surge and slam into the trenches, enlarging them. Faint rumbling sounds resounded in the blessed land, the rocky land started to break apart due to the continuous flood. The separated rocky land turned into 5 large islands and tens of smaller islands. Meng Qiuzhen finally relaxed after finishing this step, a sense of accomplishment rose in his heart. It was not easy to reach this stage. At first, this blessed land had the highest number of earth path Dao marks, the Dao marks of other paths were very few, the difference between the two was large which led the terrain to become rocky. The rocky land's advantages and disadvantages were obvious. It could produce rock materials and or mines which were very beneficial to the rockman's habitat, but it was not beneficial for the growth of vegetation. The blessed land's terrain was not a bad thing originally. However, when Meng Qiuzhen probed the next 3 earthly calamities, the first calamity was the strength path beast calamity four-armed ferocious ape, the second calamity was a fire path calamity fire rain, and the third was a transformation path calamity flies tribulation. Meng Qiuzhen understood that this dream path blessed lands calamities and tribulations were not based on earth path. Developing an earth path did not have much prospects. Meng Qiuzhen immediately decided to remodel the terrain. After a Gu master undergoes immortal ascension, very few who would change the terrain of their immortal aperture. This step was not easy. Fortunately, this was a dream realm and Meng Qiuzhen had a land spirit's powers. He first destroyed the complete rocky land but he could not do it perfectly because he lacked strength path Dao marks. Afterwards, he used his create dream killer move to create earth spikes and used earth trenches and caverns to kill the four-armed ape. This step was quite difficult. If he did not have create dream, Meng Qiuzhen would have no earth spikes, the four-armed ape would have lived for a very long period that he would need to wait for it to die of hunger before the immortal aperture blessed land could digest it slowly to obtain strength path Dao marks. Using the earth spikes, Meng Qiuzhen quickly got rid of the four-armed ape. But because of conflicting Dao marks, the blessed land could only absorb most of the strength path Dao marks and not all of it. Fortunately, this portion was enough. Meng Qiuzhen finally split apart the complete rock land. Next was painstaking work. Next was painstaking work. Meng Qiuzhen chose a large island and began to crush the peripheral rocky land into a large amount of gravel. This was an arduous task. First, he had to accumulate lightning clouds to bombard it, then use fierce wind and water waves to erode the land. With strength path Dao marks, the wind and waves were much more forceful than before, but the efficiency of crushing rocks was not high. A lot of strength had to be spent for minimal results. In fact, there were a lot of good methods. For instance, using fire to heat the rock surface, then using water to cool it immediately would disintegrate the rocks easily. But this dream realm blessed land did not have fire path Dao marks, which really troubled Meng Qiuzhen. What he was doing now was the same as using a knife to cut a tree. Several days passed as he continued this laborious grinding. Gravel filled the surrounding of the large island. These gravel were ground down by wind and water. They were tiny and smooth like mini cobblestones. The work on the first large island was completed. Meng Qiuzhen then worked on the second large island. Rainwater had gathered into a sea around the islands. In actuality, it could not be considered a sea, it was at most a large lake. Meng Qiuzhen did not bother to create waves normally, so the water surface was smooth as a mirror. Only when he needed to crush the firm rocks or step on water as a traveling method would he take the initiative to raise the wind and waves. This blessed land did not have space path Dao marks, it was not large, and Meng Qiuzhen could not teleport even as a land spirit. Time passed by as the small islands were remodeled. After Meng Qiuzhen finished remodeling all the large islands and even 7-8 small islands, he welcomed the fire path calamity. Fire rain fell heavily. Every drop of fire rain was the size of a wash basin. Countless fire raindrops struck with a huge momentum. The fire rain fell on the islands, the rocky ground and gravel burned intensely. Some thin gravel even melted, turning into lava that slowly flowed towards the water. Gradually, the rock islands with towering edges began to transform under the devastating fire rain. All the peripheral areas of the islands got submerged under water. The middle part was level with the lake surface, while the upper part was slightly higher, forming a beach made of gravel. Most of the fire rain landed on the water, creating towering steam. The vapor rose and gradually formed thick clouds that covered the whole blessed land. Meng Qiuzhen was hiding under the ground where there were dense earth path Dao marks, as he had the ability to move underground as a land spirit. He let the fire rain wreak havoc while occasionally keeping an eye on the rock islands. The fire rain lasted for a long time before dissipating. Meng Qiuzhen returned above ground and sensed that the temperature had risen by several times while the air was moist and hot. The whole blessed land was covered with thick clouds. As there was a large fire rain just now, the clouds looked like a burning blanket. How could it not be hot? Meng Qiuzhen used wind to blow away these clouds, which immediately cooled the atmosphere. However, shortly after, steam condensed in the sky again, forming light clouds. It would probably form back into the thick cloud layer after some time. Meng Qiuzhen immediately realized that the fire path calamity brought a large number of fire path Dao marks. He needed to restrain most of the fire path Dao marks and could let them interfere with his arrangements. If there is a large number of light path Dao marks, I can gather most of the fire path Dao marks into an artificial sun. Meng Qiuzhen felt some pity. This dream realm blessed land had light path Dao marks, but they were so few that the blessed land had always been dimly lit. The plan to create a sun was not possible, but Meng Qiuzhen had other methods. Immediately, he activated Create Dream Killer move, and after going through 10 or so procedures, most of the fire path Dao marks were gathered in the depths of the roots of the large islands. Fire path Dao marks were restrained by the even denser earth path Dao marks, forming magma inside the large islands. Outside of the islands, the temperature fell down rapidly because of the decrease in fire path Dao marks. The light clouds that were floating in the sky would no longer accumulate by itself. There is no artificial sun, so there won't be hot weather, but with magma, there is geothermal energy which can be used similarly. As long as Meng Qiuzhen used the strength path Dao marks, he could trigger a reaction to turn the large islands into live volcanoes that shoot out chi currents before exploding with flowing lava and a large amount of ash. Meng Qiuzhen's mind jolted as he had a sudden realization. My blessed land does not have chi path Dao marks or sound path Dao marks, but when the volcanoes erupt, they will shoot out chi currents and create loud explosions. Previously, the fire rain hit the lake and created steam clouds, but there were no cloud path Dao marks here. This is probably the origin of the ability to mimic other paths. When a Gu cultivator cultivates a path to a certain level, they can imitate the power of other paths and reach a comprehensive balance. For instance, the wood path killer move Fleeting Bloom imitated the power of time path. Bai Xiang killer move belonged to ice and snow path but had transformation path power. Stone throw inquiry killer move was an earth path move but had information path effect. After comprehending this truth, a portion of the true meaning of this dream realm was absorbed by Meng Qiuzhen. His heaven path attainment level increased slightly, which synchronized with the main body and other clones. Meng Qiuzhen inspected himself and found that although he had become a land spirit, he could not completely control the Dao marks of every path. Land spirits controlled heavenly power but were only a portion of the immortal aperture's accumulation. For instance, Meng Qiuzhen went to painstaking efforts to crush the rocks. It was in essence loosening a lump of earth path Dao marks and separating them. If Meng Qiuzhen had full control over earth path Dao marks, he could turn the firm rocks into sand with just a thought. Land spirits controlled heavenly power but their usage of it was only at the superficial level. Moreover, he had to use wind, water, and other forces to crush the rocks. So how could he deepen this control? More specifically speaking, how could he turn the firm rocks into sand? Meng Qiuzhen immediately thought of turn sand Gu. This Gu could turn earth and rocks into fine sand. He then thought of many killer moves of different paths that could turn the rocks into sand. In an instant, Meng Qiuzhen's perception of killer moves and Gu worms became different. He could not put it in words or explain it. These insights accumulated in his mind and were slightly inferior to the previous comprehension. Only a thorough comprehension would increase his heaven path attainment level. Heaven path dream realms were different from the past dream realms. To absorb the true meaning in the heaven path dream realms, one had to develop the dream realm blessed land while also comprehending the truth of the operations of heaven and earth. This made it difficult. When Feng Yuan explored human path dream realms, the new theory of Feng Jin Huang, it can be of any path as long as it is a human dream, he only needed to explore them to a certain degree to raise his attainment levels. Exploration of heaven path dream realms only maintained a close connection between the person and the heaven path true meaning. This link needed to be comprehended to raise the attainment level. After all, there is a thin line separating the heaven path dream realm and the human. Just as Meng Qiuzhen was thinking, the world turned upside down. The whole blessed land shook intensely and turned upside down, the lake overturned and gushed backwards while the islands flew and crashed with each other. What's going on? Meng Qiuzhen's expression changed. The suddenly disorder in the dream realm gave him a huge pressure. Meng Qiuzhen quickly activated dream armor to protect himself. Fortunately, the dream realm's shaking only lasted for a while before calming. Meng Qiuzhen's expression was pale. It was very fortunate that he had dream armor Gu and he chose to explore a mid-size heaven path dream realm instead of being greedy. If not for this, he would have died in this calamity. This is not a development of the heaven path dream realm but an interference from the outside world. It is probably a venerable who made the move. Meng Qiuzhen thought as he looked at the ruins in front of him, smiling bitterly at the scene of the disorderly blessed land. His hard work and effort were all wasted. If this attack occurs few times more, I won't be able to continue exploring. The calamities and tribulations will become increasingly strong. Hopefully, my main body can protect me. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 23:13, Heavenly Ghost Concealment. Chapter 23:13, Heavenly Ghost Concealment. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable's killer move was called Chaotic Intent Dispels Dream. It was a Wisdom Path killer move but included a large number of Dream Path Mortal Gu to imitate the power of Dream Path. It could influence dream realms. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable deduced this move to counter Fang Yuan's Dream Realm methods. In the past, Fang Yuan had self-detonated pure dream reality seeker bodies to create dream realms in battles, and with most methods in the world being ineffective against dream realms, Fang Yuan was able to succeed time and again. Afterwards, when Fang Yuan wanted to collect these dream realms, he would use pure dream reality seeker transformation killer move to transform the dream realms into clones and take them away. But this situation could not happen after Chaotic Intent Dispels Dream killer move was used. The Dream Path Mortal Gu in Chaotic Intent Dispels Dream only had the function of a key. The true method was still Wisdom Path. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable used the Wisdom Path method to disturb the will and emotions contained in the dream realm to make them chaotic. Whether it be the Human Path Dream Realms or Heaven Path Dream Realms, they contain human wills and emotions, or heaven's will. When these wills and emotions turn chaotic, dream realms, especially the orderly dream realms, would lose their order and turn chaotic. The Gu cultivator who was exploring the dream realm would be met with calamity like a fish that entered water which had started to boil. Once the pure dream reality seeker physique bodies were struck by this move, their stable human bodies would turn back into dream realms. Their human wills, emotions, and so on would turn disorderly along with the dream realms and be unable to think. Meng Qiuzhen who entered with his body and soul would be torn into pieces by the chaotic dream realm as time passed. Fortunately, Fang Yuan stopped this in time. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable was forced to stop the move which allowed Meng Qiuzhen to escape disaster. As for the efforts in remodeling the dream realm blessed land turning to waste, they were already minor details. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable flew back while avoiding Fang Yuan's attacks and observing the Heaven Path Dream Realm. When she saw the Heaven Path Dream Realm that swallowed Meng Qiuzhen returning to its previous self and not having any other abnormal changes, she knew Meng Qiuzhen was still alive. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable sighed inwardly. Deducing this Chaotic Intent Dispels Dream was already the limit of her ability. It was because Dream Path restricted her. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable was almost a blank slate in Dream Path. She also did not have any Dream Path Immortal Gu and had to use a large number of Dream Path Mortal Gu as replacement. That she fully relied on her terrifying Wisdom Path Foundation to raise the killer move to rank 8 level. She wanted to do more but she was powerless. This was the reason she could not save Fairy Ziwei and Ying Wuxie who were trapped in Heaven Path Dream Realms. At most, she could use this killer move to kill them. But Star Constellation Immortal Venerable needed a living spectral soul clone. There was no meaning in killing him. She, however, wanted to kill Meng Qiuzhen. She, however, wanted to kill Meng Qiuzhen. But Chaotic Intent Dispels Dreams activation needed to be maintained. If she was disturbed by Fang Yuan in this process, she would suffer a backlash which was dangerous. Fang Yuan attacked intensely. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable's method made him anxious that he could only observe closely and not give her any chance to continue activating the killer move. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable attacked crazily from the side. Fang Yuan's attention was mainly on Star Constellation Immortal Venerable so he could only try to dodge Giant Sun's attacks. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable was aggressive and had plenty of battle experience. Most of his attacks still landed on Fang Yuan's body. Fang Yuan had reverse flow protection seal but Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's lingering scrap luck was too troublesome so he cancelled the move and relied on Heavenly Web Protection Veil to defend himself. This was a genuine rank 9 killer move with the amplification of Fang Yuan's Heaven Path Dao marks. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's attacks did not achieve anything. No matter how mysterious and ingenious or grand and majestic Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's attacks were, they were treated as non-existent when they struck Fang Yuan. What kind of defensive method is this? The more Giant Sun Immortal Venerable fought, the more shaken he was. Even his face started to shake. The tighter Fang Yuan's defense was, the more Giant Sun Immortal Venerable wanted to see through him. But obscured heavenly secret had merged with heavenly web protection veil. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's investigative methods were all thwarted by obscured heavenly secret. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable could not see through him. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable was the same. The two venerables felt increasingly suspicious. Fang Yuan was defending against Star Constellation Immortal Venerable while transmitting his voice to Giant Sun Immortal Venerable to help him and attack Star Constellation Immortal Venerable, emphasizing on Heavenly Court strength. Moreover, he promised Giant Sun Immortal Venerable that if he did this, he would innovate even more Blood Path Immortal Gu and Blood Path research results. He would give them to Giant Sun Immortal Venerable. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable immediately felt much better. If Fang Yuan was making such a big concession, it meant he probably could not hold on for long. But his attacks became even stronger as he transmitted his voice. Fang Yuan, you are too modest. You are probably the strongest among us three venerables currently, not to mention anything else. Just your defensive method actually made us helpless. Fang Yuan quickly said, this killer move uses secluded domain of heaven and earth, city well. As the core, Giant Sun, you have no rank 9 killer move currently. How can you break it? Since you can't break it, why make things difficult for me and let Star Constellation Immortal Venerable obtain the biggest benefits? Giant Sun Immortal Venerable slowed down his attacks. In his mind he thought, Fang Yuan is doing his best to convince me and speaking so submissively, he may really be at his limit. He has the least immortal essence, his killer moves are so terrifying, how can they not expend a lot of immortal essence? I will slow down my attacks and let him catch a breather so he can continue this battle of attrition with Star Constellation Immortal Venerable. As for the Heaven Path Dream Realms, Star Constellation Immortal Venerable almost succeeded just earlier. How can Fang Yuan absorb so many Heaven Path Dream Realms in a short time? Star Constellation Immortal Venerable saw Giant Sun Immortal Venerable slowing his attacks. She immediately had a bad feeling and inwardly cursed Giant Sun while transmitting her voice to him. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable told Giant Sun that attainment levels were the most difficult to progress in. Since Fang Yuan was so determined on developing in Heaven Path, these Heaven Path dreams were of huge help to him. How could they watch as he succeeds? Giant Sun Immortal Venerable made a perfunctory reply. The fight of the three venerables continued in a stalemate. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable continued to persuade Giant Sun, look at Heaven Refining Demon Venerable. His situation is the worst but is already fighting me to a draw. What will happen if he has enough immortal essence in the future? Giant Sun Immortal Venerable sighed as he replied, what you say makes sense. But he sighed again as he hesitated to speak. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable's eyelids twitched slightly. She knew she had to give benefits to make Giant Sun Immortal Venerable take action. She did not hesitate as she immediately handed many Blood Path research results to Giant Sun Immortal Venerable through Treasure Yellow Heaven. After obtaining the benefits, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable attacked Fang Yuan madly once again. Fang Yuan sighed inwardly. He knew that the strength he exposed had already touched the bottom line of the two venerables. If he crossed it by even a little, the two venerables would ally even more closely. This would incur an unfavorable loss. Immediately, Fang Yuan shouted loudly, you guys forced me. The moment he finished speaking, he activated a killer move, turning into a spiral light rainbow that zoomed past the battlefield. The two venerables were stunned before their expressions changed. They understood Fang Yuan's evil intention as they quickly used their methods to obstruct the spiral rainbow. The two venerables lacked tacit coordination, they attacked at the same time, which instead left Fang Yuan unharmed. Fang Yuan did not receive any attacks. He immediately retreated and pulled apart some distance from the two venerables before using a killer move to fly out of the battlefield. The two venerables could only try to obstruct him again. This time, they communicated with each other and there was no loophole like before. But like this, Fang Yuan had the initiative instead. The two venerables felt stifled as Fang Yuan was headed towards Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. In the fight of the three venerables, Spectral Soul Demon Venerable's inactivity was a good thing to Giant Sun Immortal Venerable and Star Constellation Immortal Venerable. Fang Yuan had evil intentions. He wanted to anger this venerable and bring him over to create chaos while he looked to gain benefits. The confrontation lasted for a while, but the two venerables could not stop him every time. Eventually, Fang Yuan managed to hit Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. Spectral Soul Demon Venerable had lost his rationality. He was a venerable but was closer to being a soul beast. After being angered, he immediately charged into the battlefield of the three venerables. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable and Star Constellation Immortal Venerable could only helplessly face him. Spectral Soul Demon Venerable did not care who was who. Anyone that was before him needed to be dealt with. Over this period, his strength had increased by a lot and was no longer in the previously weak state. The three venerables needed to be much more careful than before when fighting Spectral Soul. Spectral Soul's attacks were grand and ferocious. He even activated killer moves from time to time. The three venerables did not want to provoke this lunatic. They had to fight each other as well. In short, the situation was extremely chaotic. The chaotic battlefield was the most beneficial to Fang Yuan as he could finally take a breather. If the previous situation continued, his obscured heavenly secret would not have been able to last for long. Immediately, he took advantage of the chaos to activate obscured heavenly secret twice on himself without leaking even a trace of their aura. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable kept on planning and finally grasped the chance, luring Spectral Soul Demon Venerable into the group of Heaven Path Dream Realms. But the Heaven Path Dream Realms did not do anything to Spectral Soul Demon Venerable, thwarting Star Constellation Immortal Venerable's plan. The four venerables fought amidst the Heaven Path Dream Realms. As long as it was not a Dream Path killer move, even venerable killer moves could not harm the Heaven Path Dream Realms. The Heaven Path Dream Realms did not attack Spectral Soul Demon Venerable but attacked the other three venerables. At the same time, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable and Star Constellation Immortal Venerable joined hands to attack Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan needed to attack Star Constellation Immortal Venerable and continue pressuring her to stop her from harming his clone Meng Qiuzhen. As for Spectral Soul Demon Venerable, he attacked no matter who it was. The Heaven Path Dream Realms were not an exception, but his attacks were ineffective on them. This chaotic scene lasted for 15 minutes. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable gradually gained an upper hand. She was a Wisdom Path Gu Immortal who was proficient in planning. A chaotic situation meant she had much more factors to calculate. When she started adapting and was clear of various factors, she could make use of the surrounding environment easily. Discovering that Star Constellation Immortal Venerable had repeatedly used the surrounding Heaven Path Dream Realms, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable or Spectral Soul Demon Venerable to stop him, Fang Yuan knew it was time to use another trump card. Immortal Killer Move, Heavenly Ghost Concealment. At the next moment, Spectral Soul Demon Venerable directly ignored Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan openly moved past Spectral Soul Demon Venerable's countless hands and reached Star Constellation Immortal Venerable. A fierce killer move dealt a huge blow to the unprepared Star Constellation Immortal Venerable. Fang Yuan, you. Fang Yuan, impressive, so that was it. Star Constellation and Giant Sun were shaken. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 23:14, I reside in all living beings in heaven and earth. Chapter 23:14, I reside in all living beings in heaven and earth. Among the many modified killer moves, Heavenly Ghost Concealment was actually the first to be completed. Since the battle in Crazed Demon Cave where Fang Yuan's ghostly concealment was restrained, Fang Yuan had the thought of modifying it. When his Heaven Path attainment level rose rapidly and had stealing Heavenly Secret Killer move, he modified Ghostly Concealment into Heavenly Ghost Concealment. Ghostly Concealment Killer move itself was at rank 9, so there was not much improvement. But after adding in Heaven Path Gu Worms, the previous targeted methods against Ghostly Concealment became ineffective. At this time, Fang Yuan's body was covered by a layer of dark translucent armor and a pale white bone mask covered his face. Empty. It was the manifestation of Heavenly Ghost Concealment Killer move. Different from obscured Heavenly Secret, Heavenly Ghost Concealment's aura was surging, but it seemed to be completely non-existent to Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable used many methods in a row, but they were all ineffective towards Fang Yuan's Heavenly Ghost Concealment. This is a Heaven Path method which shows Fang Yuan has talents and attainment in this path. Giant Sun, are you still going to watch as Fang Yuan gains these Heaven Path dream realms and let him gain a boost of strength? Star Constellation Immortal Venerable used this chance to persuade Giant Sun and strengthen his wariness towards Fang Yuan. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable heaved a sigh. Fang Yuan can cultivate all paths. Once he succeeds in cultivating Heaven Path, it will form a mystical connection with other paths, and his gains will be inestimable. He was persuaded by Star Constellation Immortal Venerable and increased the power of his attacks. Despite this, Fang Yuan's situation had turned better. He fought while moving around Spectral Soul Demon Venerable, his main target still Star Constellation Immortal Venerable. Immortal Killer Move, 7 kills. Immortal Killer Move, 7 kills Rainbow. This compound killer move was used by Fang Yuan repeatedly to disturb Star Constellation Immortal Venerable. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable tried to use Chaotic Intent Dispel's Dream Killer move again and again. Sometimes she would have just finished preparing the move when Fang Yuan caught up to her, and sometimes she just activated it but had to cancel it to cope with Fang Yuan's attacks. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable and Giant Sun Immortal Venerable attacked Fang Yuan, but Fang Yuan stayed close to Spectral Soul Demon Venerable and dodged slightly to let Spectral Soul Demon Venerable take the attacks. Spectral Soul Demon Venerable took on the attacks and became more furious, going on full offensive. He saw Star Constellation Immortal Venerable and Giant Sun Immortal Venerable as a thorn in his eyes but ignored Fang Yuan who was using him. After this stalemate lasted for a long time, Star Constellation Immortal Venerable decisively changed the strategy. She made Giant Sun Immortal Venerable protect her while she looked for a chance to use her killer move. Fang Yuan's expression shook slightly. As the battle continued, these two Venerables' cooperation became even deeper. Spectral Soul Demon Venerable roared as he attacked Star Constellation Immortal Venerable with his countless giant arms. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable gave a shout as he blocked in front of Star Constellation Immortal Venerable. Vast golden fog appeared and covered most of the battlefield. Spectral Soul Demon Venerable's countless hands slammed into the golden fog and rummaged through them. The golden fog continued to dissipate but was quickly replenished. Spectral Soul Demon Venerable had lost his senses. He should have used a killer move at this moment to break through the defense quickly. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable took advantage of this point that even if Spectral Soul Demon Venerable used a killer move, it might not be the correct choice. Fang Yuan heaved a sigh. He had no choice but to use another card. Immortal Killer Move, Arrival of Dragon Snake with Dust Fog and Explosive Soul Wind. Fang Yuan pointed at Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. Spectral Soul Demon Venerable immediately wailed mournfully. 100 of his large black arms suddenly twisted and turned into dragons and snakes that breathed out dust and dense fog that they then exploded, forming countless wind blades that destroyed Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's golden fog. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable coughed out a huge mouthful of blood. His defensive method was broken and he suffered a backlash. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable was also caught in the move, and the Chaotic Intent Dispel's dream that was activated for a few breaths of time was forced to stop. Spectral Soul Demon Venerable howled and roared in anger as he charged towards the two Venerables. Fang Yuan was hidden by Heavenly Ghost Concealment. Spectral Soul Demon Venerable thought the two Venerables had attacked instead. A new killer move again. This aura, the core, is definitely the secluded domain of heaven and earth, Luopa Valley. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable grabbed his chest as he healed his injuries while avoiding Spectral Soul Demon Venerable's ghost hands. How many killer moves of this level did he deduce? Star Constellation Immortal Venerable gritted her teeth, her eyes flickered with starlight as she wanted to see through Fang Yuan. But Fong Yuan was still protected by obscured heavenly secret, she could not see through him no matter what she did. After Fong Yuan used this move, he looked exhausted and attacked less as if he had expended a lot of immortal essence. He could not use Shocking Departure of Your Dream Wave and Dang Hun Sound because the rank 7 Dream Armor was given to Meng Qiuzhen. Arrival of Dragon Snake with Dust Fog and Explosive Soul Wind was quite good. But because it was a compound killer move, involving many paths and goo worms, Fong Yuan's thoughts were almost empty. After all, he had to continue maintaining rank 9 killer moves, Heavenly Web Protection Veil and Heavenly Ghost Concealment. Fortunately, rank 9 obscured Heavenly Secret killer move did not need him to pay attention to it at all times. One of the disadvantages of compound killer moves was that they expended too much thoughts. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable made a clever adjustment but still failed. Meng Qiuzhen continued to explore the dream realm, providing constant benefits to Fong Yuan's main body. Although Fong Yuan's attacks decreased visibly, he used Arrival of Dragon Snake with Dust Fog and Explosive Soul Wind to repel and suppress the two venerables. Spectral heaven had just formed, the heavenly wind chi wall was not thick enough and there were no clouds, the 5 regions Gu immortals could observe the battle easily. Looking at Fong Yuan gaining the upper hand, many Gu immortals of Central Continent and Northern Plains were shocked and worried. Some cursed Fong Yuan for his shamelessness, some prayed for the righteous path, while some were shaken by the demonic might, their face turned deathly pale. As for the Eastern Sea Gu immortals, joy showed on their faces. Damn it, if my blood sea was completed and I had a blood path killer move of such a level, why would I fear Fong Yuan's methods? Giant Sun Immortal Venerable gritted his teeth, his stifled emotions accumulated to the limit, finally making him use his full strength. Luck Path Killer Move, I reside in all living beings in heaven and earth. After Giant Sun Immortal Venerable activated this move, a giant pillar of light formed immediately. The light pillar was dazzlingly golden and stood majestically between heaven and earth. It was tens of thousands of feet tall and was very thick. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable stood inside the golden light pillar, his 2 hands and legs were spread apart to the sides. His hair fluttered, his face distorted ferociously as he screamed, veins bulged over his whole body as if he was in extreme pain. When the killer move was activated, Spectral Soul Demon Venerable's attacks were all blocked by the golden light pillar. Fong Yuan tried to attack but found that if he attacked the golden light pillar once, his luck would shake and even showed a sign of being absorbed by Giant Sun Immortal Venerable. Fong Yuan made a wise decision to stop his action. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable, what did you do? Star Constellation Immortal Venerable's expression was unsightly as well. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's move was too powerful and even influenced her. The golden light pillar lasted for a short 9 breaths of time before stopping abruptly and dissipating. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's body was covered in a layer of golden radiance. His muscles were bulging, his golden hair fluttered wildly, his entire body seemed to have expanded. He looked toward Star Constellation Immortal Venerable. The sharp gaze made even Star Constellation Immortal Venerable narrow her eyes. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable mumbled, Star Constellation, do not worry. This move's range covers the entire 5 regions, there was no way to avoid you. Spectral Soul Demon Venerable roared, raising terrifying black fog that covered the sky. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable shouted and breathed out fiercely, forming a boundless hurricane. The hurricane swept everything, pushing aside the black fog, revealing hundreds of thousands of tadpole-like soul balls. The soul balls exploded around Giant Sun Immortal Venerable. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable snorted in disdain, that faint golden light barrier was not even the least bit damaged. Spectral Soul Demon Venerable's countless hands attacked, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable met the attacks with just fists and kicks. Spectral Soul Demon Venerable's ghost hands and dark arms were like eggs thrown at a rock. After the collision, countless golden light specks drilled into the dark arms then shot out, exploding the dark arms. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable began to counterattack. Spectral Soul Demon Venerable was immediately suppressed. No matter how madly he counterattacked, he was attacked even more ruthlessly by Giant Sun Immortal Venerable. Fong Yuan fought with Giant Sun Immortal Venerable and found that Giant Sun had gotten a comprehensive boost in offense, defense, movement, and healing. Fong Yuan was also suppressed, but he gradually saw some details. This move is probably forcibly extracting external luck and enforcing it on his body. But how large is the range of this move? Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's conversation with Star Constellation Immortal Venerable just earlier was done through voice transmission. Fong Yuan did not know this move's range was so shocking large that it covered the entire 5 regions. This move had an even deeper profundity. It could influence heaven and earth luck, as well as all living beings' luck, making all the luck revolve around Giant Sun Immortal Venerable. The killer move was called I reside in all living beings in heaven and earth. It truly lived up to its name. Fong Yuan had cooking luck pot and heavenly web protection veil. His luck was not influenced by this move. But Star Constellation Immortal Venerable's defensive methods against luck path were broken by Giant Sun Immortal Venerable and rendered useless. But Star Constellation Immortal Venerable did not express anything for the moment. After all, the urgent thing was to deal with Fong Yuan and kill Meng Qiuzhen. After activating the killer move, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's luck rose to an unprecedented level. Adding on his combat system, his strength received a terrifying all-rounded amplification. Spectral Soul Demon Venerable was lacking rationality. After attacking madly for a while, he actually showed signs of defeat. Fong Yuan was not well off either, but he was still concentrating on Star Constellation Immortal Venerable. In fact, whether Giant Sun Immortal Venerable was strong or not was not crucial. As long as there was no restriction from a battlefield killer move, Fong Yuan was free to advance and retreat. In Fong Yuan's opinion, the key factor was still Star Constellation Immortal Venerable. He shouted toward Star Constellation Immortal Venerable openly and not through voice transmission. Star Constellation, you have a good plan to make me and Giant Sun expend our immortal essence while you stall for time. Can your method even destroy my Dream Path clone? Star Constellation Immortal Venerable sneered. If that's what you think, how about letting me have a try? Fong Yuan replied calmly, Star Constellation, you are still the more skillful one. You saw through my cautious mind and that I won't dare to take a risk in this matter. In that case, I have no choice but to resort to other methods. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable and Giant Sun Immortal Venerable were immediately vigilant. Since the start, the killer moves Fong Yuan revealed were extremely shocking and powerful. Especially his defensive method, the two venerables were still unable to see through it. The two venerables were paying close attention for a while but did not see Fong Yuan using any more methods. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable chuckled, Fong Yuan, just a verbal threat does not mean anything. Fong Yuan laughed heartily, I have used this method long ago. Speaking of it, Star Constellation Star Array Calculation Formation is really vast and amazing. Such a pity, it is such a pity, it was constructed in a hurry and is going to be destroyed just as quickly as well. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable immediately frowned. At the same time. Central Continent. Outside of the Star Array Calculation Formation. Qi Ancestor appeared. Rumble. His Qi Path Killer move activated. At the next moment, heaven and earth shook as boundless Qi surged and pressed down on the Star Array Calculation Formation. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 23:15, Nothing is certain except success. Chapter 23:15, Nothing is certain except success. Ever since the sun was destroyed, 5 regions and 2 heavens fell into deep darkness. Spectral Soul Demon Venerable, who was burning with blue, eerie fire, could never replace the sun. Because what he gave the world were not vitality and warmth, but coldness and killing intent. In this darkness, the countless stars shining in the sky of Central Continent became a consolation for the mortals. However, right now, these dazzling starlights were being attacked. Vast and surging Qi currents submerged the boundless starlight. Qi Ancestor waved his sleeves as he slowly flew in the air and continued his attacks with an indifferent expression. He was one of the arrangements Fong Yuan made when he deployed troops before. Right now, he immediately acted after receiving the main body's message. The space inside Star Array Calculation Formation was in an uproar. There were many Gu immortals stationed here. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable arranged many Gu immortals here because Star Array Calculation Formation was fragile. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable was aware that star array calculation formation which was constructed in just a short period was Heavenly Court's weakness and would become other Venerable's target. So she also left Embroidered Tower and Star Constellation chessboard in this formation. Qi Ancestor appeared at the northeast side. He extinguished 3,871 stars with one move. Urgent report. Fang Yuan's enslavement path clone Wu Shuai appeared at the northwest side and destroyed 2,664 stars. Star Constellations while inside Embroidered Tower was just about to send orders when the whole formation space shook fiercely. She then heard the Gu immortals in charge of information shout in panic, Jean Budu appeared, he is attacking from the south and is coming straight towards us. Jean Budu. Star Constellations will immediately controlled her thoughts to take a look through the star array calculation formation that she saw a bright-looking young man wearing a large blood-red cape. His momentum was like a tiger coming out of the mountain or a mad dragon descending upon the world. His attacks produced explosive sounds as he moved forward. Star Constellations will side. There were already clues from Fang Clan's situation about Fang Yuan being able to revive Gu immortals. Jean Budu's revival did not surprise Star Constellations will. But she was a bit troubled in this situation. Qi Ancestor and Jean Budu had pseudo-venerable battle strength while Wu Shuai was a peak rank 8 expert. In this aspect, Heavenly Court lacked elite experts that could match them. Qing Chou could be considered one but was guarding Divine Emperor City at this moment. Based on strategical importance, Divine Emperor City was much more important than star array calculation formation. As for Qin Ding Ling, Che Wei, and the rest, they were experts among rank 8s but were still lacking compared to Qi Si and Jean Budu. Fang Yuan can revive Gu immortals while preserving their cultivation level. If so, where are his variant human rank 8 subordinates hiding now? The situation was not clear. Star Constellations will decided to play it safe and prioritize defending star array calculation formation. Star Constellations will personally controlled star array calculation formation. In an instant, dazzling starlight shone. Qi Si Ancestor and Wu Shuai had to close their eyes and use investigative killer moves. Only Jean Budu, who had a very strong body, opened his eyes wide without any worries. Starlight dimmed quickly. Qi Si Ancestor, Wu Shuai, and Jean Budu's vision changed suddenly. They found themselves on a large chessboard. This is Star Constellation chessboard. This star array calculation formation and star constellation chessboard can mutually support each other. Not only this, it probably has Embroidered Tower's help as well. Fang Yuan's 3 clones conversed secretly while attacking madly. Explosions rang, star array calculation formation shook intensely but it was able to barely hold on with the help of Embroidered Tower and star constellation chessboard. This is not good. If the situation falls into a stalemate, how can we help our main body pressure Star Constellation Immortal Venerable? Qi Si Ancestor's heart sank slightly. The other two knew this was not good and strengthened their attacks. Spectral Heaven. Spectral Heaven. The fight of the 4 Venerables was continuing. Fang Yuan's clones made a move but were blocked by Star Constellation Immortal Venerables arrangements. However, Fang Yuan's situation was improving quickly. His situation was troubling earlier because Giant Sun Immortal Venerable used his full strength. But the situation was changing now because of Giant Sun Immortal Venerable as well. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's battle strength was falling constantly. Although the killer move, I reside in all living beings in heaven and earth, was very strong, it forcibly extracted external luck. It was like a rootless tree or a sourceless body of water. The more it was used, the less would remain. Not only this, when the effect of this move dissipate completely, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's luck would fall into a weakened state which would last for a while before it goes back to normal. The news of star array calculation formation being attacked was already known by Star Constellation Immortal Venerable at the very first moment. But she could not go back to reinforce it. The moment she did that, she would fall into Fang Yuan's trap. At that time, why would Giant Sun Immortal Venerable be willing to fight against Spectral Soul Demon Venerable and Fang Yuan alone? If Star Constellation Immortal Venerable blindly cared about Heavenly Court's benefits, it would definitely put a crack in the two Venerables' alliance. After all, Giant Sun was not a Heavenly Court Venerable, he did not share the same sentiments as Star Constellation Immortal Venerable, this alliance was just because of the situation. In fact, Star Constellation Immortal Venerable suspected that if she were to go back to reinforce Central Continent, Fang Yuan would give chase. Among the Venerables, only Star Constellation Immortal Venerable could pose a threat to Meng Qiuzhen. Fang Yuan would directly bring the battlefield to Central Continent, which was even more harmful to Central Continent. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable defended against Fang Yuan's constant interference while inwardly sighing at his craftiness and understanding of the human heart, choosing a perfect time for his clones to make a move. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable also tried using other killer moves to attack Fang Yuan. Although Spectral Soul Demon Venerable was strong, he had lost his senses and was only an annoyance. Fang Yuan was still the crucial factor and the biggest threat. But Star Constellation Immortal Venerable's constant attempts showed no visible effects. Fang Yuan used Spectral Soul Demon Venerable to protect himself, his battle tactic was shallow but it had an excellent effect. The four Venerables' chaotic battle lasted for a while longer. Seeing that I reside in all living beings and heaven and earth killer move was decreasing in effect, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable had no choice but to activate this move again. In an instant, Golden Light Pillar appeared once again. It spanned across heaven and earth, it was grand, magnificent, and extremely dazzling. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's luck strengthened once again and his battle strength rose to the previous state. I reside in all living beings and heaven and earth killer move could be used continuously but its after effects would increase subsequently. Right now, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable was in a position from which he could not retreat, his whole combat system was based on his positive luck. If his luck was low, his battle strength would reduce significantly. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable naturally did not want to reveal the flaw of this move when he was using it for the first time. Fang Yuan saw Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's aura rising again, he immediately retreated and used Spectral Soul Demon Venerable as a shield to block the attacks. Giant Sun Immortal Venerables clenched his teeth in hatred as he saw Fang Yuan's action. He knew that if he did not do something, the previous situation would replay, so he immediately used another trump card. Luck Path Killer Move, nothing is certain except success. Golden light flickered on Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's body. The golden light slowly rose above his head and turned into an amber jade sphere. The amber jade sphere's aura was extremely powerful, even Fang Yuan and Star Constellation Immortal Venerable felt their hearts palpitate. Next, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable gave a low shout and fiercely struck the amber jade sphere with his head. The amber jade sphere shot off towards Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan knew how terrifying this move was when he saw that Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's surging luck had mostly dissipated and nearly went back to its original state. He could not immediately decipher the profundities in this move, so he did not take this move head-on, instead dodging behind Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. Spectral Soul Demon Venerable had no fear as he swatted the amber jade sphere far away with one hand. The amber jade sphere was like a ball that directly fell from spectral heaven. What? Fang Yuan and Star Constellation were slightly astonished. This move had such a terrifying aura, but it was actually suppressed so easily. Giant Sun, Star Constellation Immortal Venerable directly expressed her concern. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable smiled, replying confidently, Star Constellation, please watch. This move is extraordinarily profound. It is created using self-luck, all living beings' luck, and heaven and earth luck. It is not restricted by the usual concept of offense and defense but uses the variables in heaven and earth and all living beings to form a result that will astonish both of us. It is just that this move needs some time to show its power. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable heard this reply and immediately asked the crucial question, then how long does it need to show an effect? Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's expression stiffened. The time is not fixed. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable continued, this move has already been used, you don't need to worry about it. Why don't you attack Fang Yuan with me? He then pounced at Fang Yuan. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable glanced at the amber jade sphere before coordinating with Giant Sun Immortal Venerable as they flew around Spectral Soul Demon Venerable and attacked Fang Yuan. The Amber Jade Sphere encountered a large soul beast army on its descent. After piercing through hundreds of soul beasts, its aura fell by 10% and its direction also changed slightly. It continued to fall, its aura dropping by another 10% as it pierced through the heavenly wind chi wall. After it reached the sky of Central Continent, it directly shot into star array calculation formation. Star constellations was controlling star constellation chessboard and star array calculation formation to deal with Fong Yuan's 3 clones. The two sides were still in a stalemate when suddenly, the luck path killer move that looked like an amber egg intruded the inside of the starry chessboard. What is this? Chi Si Ancestor and the group were immediately vigilant. Oh no! Star constellations Will's expression changed intensely. Be it star array calculation formation or star constellation chessboard, they were both wisdom path methods characterized by delicate and complicated calculations. But the Amber Jade Sphere was the congregation of luck path, it was a huge variable. The Amber Jade Sphere entered star constellation chessboard and immediately disturbed the whole battlefield. It continuously absorbed and repelled all kinds of arrangements made by star constellations, making everything turn chaotic. Star constellations quickly tried to suppress the variables and maintain the battlefield, but she could not avoid showing certain loopholes as a result. Fong Yuan's 3 clones were joyous and immediately grabbed this chance to attack the loopholes. A while later. There was a huge explosion. The vision of Fong Yuan's clones changed suddenly as they reappeared in the sky above Central Continent. A small portion of star constellation chessboard was destroyed and star constellations immediately stored it in embroidered tower. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 23:16, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's Explanation. Chapter 23:16, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's Explanation. Spectral Heaven Battlefield. Boom! 7 kills. Rainbow attacked, while starlight shone around star constellation Immortal Venerable as she dodged. She was about to counterattack when she saw Fong Yuan hiding beside Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. Since the battle started, this situation had already occurred about 100 times. Star constellation Immortal Venerable was no longer as peeved as she was at first. She looked at Giant Sun Immortal Venerable being attacked by hundreds of Spectral Soul's giant hands and activated a killer move, destroying tens of black hands rapidly. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable used the chance to get past the encirclement of the giant hands. Being suddenly attacked, Spectral Soul Demon Venerable changed his target to Star Constellation Immortal Venerable. Star Constellation, lure the attention of Spectral Soul while I go and capture Fong Yuan. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable said quickly when he saw this. He then turned into golden light that moved rapidly past Spectral Soul Demon Venerable and towards Fong Yuan. However, Star Constellation Immortal Venerable snorted coldly. She did not stay to stall Spectral Soul Demon Venerable, leaving a star avatar while her true body retreated. The star avatar was instantly destroyed by Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. He then turned around and attacked Giant Sun Immortal Venerable. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable was entrapped once again and quickly transmitted his voice to Star Constellation Immortal Venerable with some doubts. Star Constellation, what are you doing? Star Constellation Immortal Venerable directly gave Giant Sun Immortal Venerable the details of what happened in the star array calculation formation. She questioned, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable, how do you explain this? This, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable laughed awkwardly as he realized what happened. Have you heard of the luck path theory, that luck turns better after hitting rock bottom and that fortune and misfortune coexist? This luck path killer move works like that. After it is activated, I lose all control over it. I have no idea how it will work and what effect it will show. The star array calculation formation is not destroyed, this is only a small mishap. Good luck comes after bad luck, this mishap will create a huge fortune in the near future, we should be expectant. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable sneered, using my mishap to exchange for your fortune, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable, is this what you are saying? Giant Sun Immortal Venerable choked on his words and could only say, I will compensate you for all the direct losses, but how about we discuss the specific amount after the fight? Star Constellation Immortal Venerable nodded at Giant Sun Immortal Venerable and continued to fight alongside him. She chose to believe Giant Sun Immortal Venerable. In her opinion, although Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's standpoint was different from Heavenly Court, he placed great importance on family and had clear morals, he cherished his descendants and was very protective of them. There was a clear difference between him and Fong Yuan. Fong Yuan had no limits and needed to be guarded against, his promises could not be trusted. But Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's words were believable to a degree. Especially when this compensation was not the important thing. Naturally, the important thing was that in this situation, a single venerable would not be able to deal with Fong Yuan. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable and Star Constellation Immortal Venerable could not stand by and watch Fong Yuan absorb all the Heaven Path Dream Realms. At the Star Array Calculation Formation. Qi Ancestor stirred up countless Qi currents that were hard to block. Xianxia charged forward like a dragon and no one was able to stop him. Wu Shuai controlled countless ants to infiltrate and tear the whole Star Array Calculation Formation apart. Inside Embroidered Tower, Star Constellations will did everything to repair Star Constellation chessboard, while controlling Embroidered Tower to help the Star Array Calculation Formation. The Star Array Calculation Formation had very low offensive and defensive capabilities. If not for this, Giant Sun and Fong Yuan would not have stayed still as Star Constellation Immortal Venerable constructed such a formation. Despite the help of Embroidered Tower and having the Gu Immortals inside the formation space do their best to control and repair it, the Star Array Calculation Formation was still crumbling under the fierce attacks of Fong Yuan's 3 clones. Finally, several formation cores were exposed. These formation cores have immortal Gu. They are quite mysterious, my ants cannot infiltrate them. Wu Shuai transmitted his voice. Qi Ancestor and Xianxia each made an attempt but failed as well. These formation cores were covered in starlight and it was hard to tell if they were real or fake. The attacks of Fong Yuan's clones had no effect and only shook the starlight intensely. This probably is a phantom path method that I can't do anything. Xianxia shrugged. He mainly relied on incomplete freedom transformation, so he was strong in charging and breaking enemy formations, but was not good at other aspects. Qi Ancestor frowned. At this difficult time, he glanced at the Amber Jade Sphere. After this Amber Jade Sphere damaged Star Constellation chessboard, its aura and radiance had dimmed by a lot, its size shrank by 60%, leaving only 20% of its initial size. He communicated with the other 2 clones and arranged a battle tactic. Xianxia and Wu Shuai lured the attention of Star Constellations while Qi Ancestor used his Qi Path giant hand to grab the Amber Jade Sphere and throw it towards the nearest formation core. Black Heaven Temple's Gu Immortal Xianxia was in charge of this formation core. He saw the Amber Jade Sphere approaching the formation core and quickly called for help. Star Constellations will notice this and immediately made a move. Embroidered Tower shot out countless Dao marks at the Amber Jade Sphere, deviating its path away from the formation core, causing it to stop nearby. The Gu worms near the formation core were affected by the Amber Jade Sphere and turned chaotic. Xianxia was just about to suppress this emerging problem when Fong Yuan's 3 clones started attacking wantonly. Embroidered Tower tried to defend with all its strength, but the turbulence still affected other Gu worms. Originally, whether these mortal Gu died or destabilized would not have been an issue. As long as the immortal Gu in the formation core was safe, it was okay to just replace the mortal Gu that were lost. But the actual situation was different. The destabilization and destruction of the surrounding mortal Gu formed minor variables that accumulated rapidly, until they threatened the immortal Gu in the formation core. Xianxia's effort to stabilize the situation instead assisted in this. Then, under his incredulous gaze, the immortal Gu in the formation core shattered directly. The immortal Gu in the formation cores of the Star Array Calculation Formation were originally intact, covering up for each other and closely connected. Now that one formation core suddenly crumbled apart, it immediately revealed a huge flaw in the entire formation. Fang Yuan's three clones attacked fiercely. Star constellations could not consider anything else and had to concentrate fully on protecting the star array calculation formation. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable, how do you explain this now? In spectral heaven, star constellation Immortal Venerable questioned again. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable sighed, I will compensate you. Star constellation Immortal Venerable snorted coldly, is this just an issue of compensation? Giant Sun Immortal Venerable sighed again, please calm down, the most important thing now is to stop Fang Yuan. Do I look like someone who can't understand the situation? Once this move is activated, it really is out of my control. We can only watch as it plays out. Your move helped Fang Yuan's clones and is already expended, it has disappeared completely. How can it trouble Fang Yuan's clones now? Giant Sun Immortal Venerable laughed heartily, it only disappeared on the surface, the real variables are invisible, and have already started to affect and change the world and all living beings. Star constellation Immortal Venerable's mind shook slightly, she was deducing and deepening her understanding of the killer move. Nothing is certain except success. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable had shocking talent, this move went beyond common sense and was not in the category of any offensive killer move in history, it was new and unique. Then I shall wait and see. With the enemy in front, Star Constellation Immortal Venerable could only compromise. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable let out a sigh of relief in actuality. He finally could relax now that the Amber Jade Sphere had disappeared. Even if Heavenly Court suffers losses from this move in the future, there won't be any evidence. This move triggers variables in a way that is most beneficial to me. Looks like Heavenly Court is my main enemy currently, which is why this move did not affect Fang Yuan, instead helping him to deal with Heavenly Court. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable tried to figure out the situation. In the space inside the star array calculation formation, Gu Immortal Xianxia coughed out a mouthful of blood, his face was extremely pale. He used all his strength to protect the formation core but still failed in the end. Fang Yuan's three clones had already latched onto the weakness and began to increase their battle achievements. Originally, the star array calculation formation was perfect, thanks to Phantom Path, Fang Yuan's three clones were not able to attack it easily. But now that they had made a crucial breakthrough, there was a hole in the perfect structure and they started to attack using it. A Gu Immortal in charge of healing arrived in front of Xianxia and began to treat him. Xianxia was downcast as he berated himself while coughing blood, I am unworthy of Heavenly Court's support and Lady Star Constellation Immortal Venerable's trust, I lost the formation core. The healer Gu Immortal consoled him, this was all due to Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's killer move, it is not your fault. Xianxia had an incredulous expression, this luck path killer move is truly insidious, it connected all the variables and expanded them until even the formation core Immortal Gu was harmed. It was like a scale where if one end was weighed down, the other end would rise. The formation core's Immortal Gu and the surrounding Mortal Gu were like an integral whole made from countless carrying poles. But instead of raising one end when the other was pushed down, another weight was added to suppress the rising end, these two variables cancelled each other. Nothing is certain except success acted the opposite way, it united the power of all the variables, thus destroying the formation core's Immortal Gu. After healing for a while, Xianxia's situation was finally stable. Over this period, another 3 formation cores of the star array calculation formation were destroyed by Fang Yuan's clones. This is all my fault. Xianxia blamed himself even more, he felt that the situation was crumbling apart. But at this time, another Gu Immortal arrived beside him. This was a formation path Grandmaster, the situation is urgent, I came to repair the formation and will need your assistance. Xianxia quickly cupped his fists in greeting, expressing he would stake everything to help. Although the formation core's Immortal Gu was destroyed, this formation path Grandmaster could use immortal materials to set up a formation that could temporarily replace the position of the destroyed formation core's Immortal Gu. It was not easy to construct the star array calculation formation, Star Constellations was not willing to see it be destroyed. Central Continent's 10 great sects Gu Immortals had tasted the benefits of this formation and were also not willing to see its destruction. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 23:17, 8 Desolate Sword Leaf Tree. Chapter 23:17 8 Desolate Sword Leaf Tree. The formation Grandmaster calculated with all his efforts. After a while, he said with perspiration running down his face, I need 500 kilograms of rank 8 immortal material, heavy sand, to temporarily cover the shortage of this formation core. Xianxia's heart sank. Heavy sand was a specialty product of Western Desert and was not produced in other 4 regions. How could he collect such a large amount of heavy sand at this moment? Just as Xianxia was worried, the formation Grandmaster let out a breath of turbid air and said, You can get heavy sand from Heavenly Court storage, but I need someone to go to Spectral Heaven and pour at least 250 kilograms from top to bottom. At that time, we will cooperate with that person from inside the formation and fill the hole. I will go. Xianxia immediately said. The formation Grandmaster shook his head, saying directly, Your injuries have only been suppressed and you are too weak. If you rashly exit the formation, you will be killed by those 3 demons easily. Those 3 demons will gain clues and know the approximate location of this formation space. Then what should we do? Xianxia sighed bitterly. The formation Grandmaster was slightly dazed as he received Star Constellation Immortal Venerable's instructions, saying, All right, be it immortal materials or manpower, Lady Star Constellation Immortal Venerable will personally make arrangements. Xianxia, use this time to heal your injuries quickly. I will go to the next formation core and prepare the method to fix it. The formation Grandmaster left hurriedly. Xianxia looked at his receding figure before turning to observe his surroundings, only seeing chaos and commotion in the formation space. The Gu immortals who were stationed here were running everywhere. Even with Star Constellation Immortal Venerables will personally attending to this place, Feng Yuan's 3 clones posed a huge threat to them. Xianxia could deeply feel his powerlessness. He sighed helplessly and started healing his injuries. Western Desert. Lin Clan's Blessed Land Headquarters. Lin Clan's first Supreme Elder, the number 1 Gu immortal in the present Western Desert, Lin Xianxia walked out of the Blessed Land with 9 spiritual fairy. I wish you a smooth journey. Lin Xianxia smiled. Heavenly Court wanted Lin Xianxia's body to create Bo Qing and restrain Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. 9 spiritual fairy and 4 other Heavenly Court Gu immortals surrounded and attacked Lin Xianxia but suffered a miserable defeat. 9 spiritual fairy covered the retreat and was captured by Lin Xianxia. But now, she was being personally released by Lin Xianxia. 9 spiritual fairies' expression was heavy. She did not feel happy when regaining freedom. She looked at Lin Xianxia and asked, What did Heavenly Court pay you to release me? Lin Xianxia said directly, Star Constellation Immortal Venerable places a great importance on you. I daringly to make an offer and obtained 11 8 desolate sword leaf trees fortunately. 8 desolate sword leaf tree, 9 spiritual fairies' heart became even heavier. The story behind these 8 desolate sword leaf trees was huge. They originated from Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable. They were immemorial desolate plants created by the Venerable and were not a naturally produced resource. 8 desolate sword leaf tree contained a dense number of wood path Dao marks, but it grew on or mines with metal path immortal materials, and the leaves it produced were rank 8 sword path immortal materials. These 8 desolate sword leaf trees were unique resources. Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable grew them personally and only left 20 or so trees in Heavenly Court. A number of the 8 desolate sword leaf trees died or were expended in the following period after his death. Only these 11 trees were left now and they were all obtained by Lin Xianxia. Lin Xianxia accompanied 9 spiritual fairy till the previous regional wall area that spanned across Western Desert, Central Continent, and Northern Plains. He then watched 9 spiritual fairy leave alone. When I was negotiating with Star Constellations we were always deadlocked over the price. I did not expect Star Constellations to suddenly be willing to hand me 11 8 desolate sword leaf trees, but they wanted me to provide 100 kilograms of heavy sand along with the release of 9 spiritual fairy. I have really made a huge gain by getting these 11 8 desolate sword leaf trees. My guess was not wrong. As long as I can gain some comprehension from them, the recreation of my sword forest will just be around the corner. Heavenly Court has too many assets and an extremely deep foundation that even after repeated losses in battle, their foundation still cannot be matched by other super forces. What a pity that I was only able to capture 9 spiritual fairy. Otherwise, I could have demanded even more cultivation resources from Heavenly Court. The destruction of Fate Gu had a lasting influence on the whole world and even Gu cultivators. Heavenly Court possessed the immortal graveyard, their Gu immortals could revive after death. So it was a great battle tactic for them to seek death and not care for their life. Fang Yuan went even further in this aspect. He intentionally revived Gu immortals as Gu masters to make them undergo immortal ascension again, using stealing heavenly secret to make huge gains. So even if Lin Jianxing killed Heavenly Court's members, there would not be a huge grudge that they could revive anyway. On the contrary, he was able to capture 9 spiritual fairy alive and stopped her from dying, which instead became an issue for Heavenly Court. After a long period of negotiations, Heavenly Court finally redeemed this captive by giving Lin Jianxing what he wanted. It is a pity that my sword path is strong in offense but not that proficient in capturing methods. Sigh, this world is quite extraordinary. My former world focused on cultivation methods, but this world prioritizes Gu worms, immortal essence, immortal materials and other cultivation resources. Cultivation resources are the foundation of everything. This confrontation of venerables is the perfect time for my Lin clan to expand. That if a victor is decided between the venerables and I am still not a sword path venerable, I may have no choice other than to submit to the winner. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable's previous deduction was not wrong. Lin Jianxing was indeed an otherworldly demon. In his former world, he was the head of a sword sect and was known as the Grand Ancestor. Such a person was naturally not willing to be subservient. He was a person who had seen through worldly affairs and was full of ambitions. So, after Lin Jianxing defeated the 5 Heavenly Court Immortals, he did not give any explanations that he was actually happy to be treated as a demonic path member. What would he, a Grand Sword Path pseudo-venerable, fear? Would he fear other Western Desert super forces? Laughable. The ones who hoped he, Lin Jianxing, clarified that he and Lin clan were in the righteous path were these Western Desert super forces. If so, Lin clan would be restrained under the rules of the righteous path and be unable to expand freely. But so what if he explained himself? Was Lin clan not a righteous path super force previously? It did not matter, Heavenly Court still attacked without a reason. This was the #1 righteous path super force in the world. On the contrary, joining demonic path was much better for Lin clan to annex other forces and expand wantonly. Naturally, even Lin Jianxing could not resist a venerable's attack. But did that mean he had to give up? There was no such logic in Lin Jianxing's heart. If one was weak, they needed to do everything to become stronger, to become an expert. It was because they would be bullied that they had to grab every chance to resist and become stronger. Lin Jianxing had such thoughts and did just that. He had already made enough mental preparation. He would bear the responsibility even if a venerable targeted him in the future. As long as he could preserve his life, he would surrender to the venerables. He might even be lucky and get the venerable support, making even greater achievements. After sending off 9 spiritual fairy, Lin Jianxing did not return to the headquarters but continued to head north and entered Northern Plains. He turned invisible and flew rapidly, soon arriving at Flower Forest Forbidden Land. Flower Forest Forbidden Land was one of the 10 great fierce areas in Northern Plains and was home to countless mushrooms. These mushrooms were as large as trees and the huge number of them formed a vast forest. All kinds of flowers bloomed in the forest, their aroma permeated the surroundings and were dense to the point of forming fog. Every full moon, the fragrance of the flowers would condense into water droplets that flowed to the surroundings, nourishing the mushroom trees and strengthening them further. Similar to all the fierce areas, countless desolate beast groups lived here, including many immemorial desolate beasts and plants. Zui Hui had been hiding in the depths of Flower Forest Forbidden Land over these days. It was a legendary immemorial desolate beast. It was much easier and more suitable for it to enter and live in fierce areas than Gu immortals. Zui Hui naturally had its plans for hiding in the flower forest. Its goal was Yutian Guang, who was imprisoned by Longevity Heaven. It wanted to save the latter. Flower Forest Forbidden Land was a fierce area in Northern Plains that could not only hide him but was also nearest to Longevity Heaven. I am going now. The following plan will depend on you two. Don't think of running away. You are both struck by my method and are not of Huang Jin bloodline. Who will save you? Zui Hui did not forget to warn Lu Qingming and Su Guang before leaving. These 2 Gu immortals were really unlucky. They had wanted to escape Northern Plains and were heading towards Western Desert when they were caught by Zui Hui midway and were brought to Flower Forest Forbidden Land. The environment in a fierce area was extremely dangerous. They could not escape with their strength. If not for Zui Hui's protection, they would not be able to survive even a day in this fierce area. We won't dare, our lives depend on you, Lord. That we will definitely use all our strength for the plan. Lu Qingming quickly replied. Zui Hui snorted coldly, its huge body suddenly turned into a puddle of dark liquid that seeped into the ground and disappeared. Lu Qingming and Su Guang were helpless and could only follow Zui Hui's instructions. They entered an immortal formation and began to activate it. The strength of the immortal formation began to spread to the surroundings. The whole process did not leak any aura and was silent. This was the specialty of Dark Path. As time passed, many immemorial desolate beast groups in Flower Forest Forbidden Land started to get agitated. Zui Hui had even used its methods on the leaders of these beast groups without them noticing it. Most Gu immortals would not be able to accomplish this. Zui Hui was a Dark Path legendary immemorial beast. It could be considered as the number Gu cultivator in Dark Path in the present era, and it had used all its methods for this. Not long later, the immemorial beast groups began to roar irritatedly. Beasts lacked wisdom, they were on guard against each other and went into conflict, thus outbreaks started to occur. Under the influence of the immortal formation, immemorial beast groups began to run madly with their groups. They completely disrupted the order of the whole fierce area, forming a beast tide of a grand scale. This beast tide broke out of Flower Forest Forbidden Lands territory and started to rush towards the nearby Huang Jin tribes. The Huang Jin tribes were shaken and immediately asked Longevity Heaven for help. In this situation, Lin Jianxing arrived in the sky above Flower Forest Forbidden Land. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 23:18, Giant Son accidentally harms his son. Chapter 23:18, Giant Son accidentally harms his son. Even before the Huang Jin tribes asked for help, Longevity Heaven had already detected the commotion in Flower Forest Forbidden Land. Bing Sai Chuan was overseeing Longevity Heaven. He was having a discussion with Yao Huang in some of the 8 extremities. The commotion in the fierce area is no small matter, we have to take care of it. In my opinion, we must verify the reason for the commotion. Maybe because the sun was destroyed and spectral heaven formed, it caused light path to decline and dark path to prosper. Flower Forest Forbidden Land has a dense number of dark path Dao marks. After the discussion, Bing Sai Chuan personally moved towards the fierce area to inspect the situation while the others continue to guard Longevity Heaven. The reason for this arrangement was because Bing Sai Chuan possessed a time path killer move that could trace an event to its source and see the truth in the past. Longevity Heaven opened its entrance as Bing Sai Chuan moved directly to Flower Forest Forbidden Land. Zui Hui, who was already hiding in Spectral Heaven, was near Longevity Heaven's entrance. It saw the entrance open and close but did not move. The opening of the entrance was indeed an excellent chance to enter the Grotto Heaven, but it was too conspicuous that even if Zui Hui had concealment methods, it was not easy to do this. Gu immortals were deeply concerned whenever they opened their immortal aperture. If Zui Hui entered at this time, it was simply exposing itself and looking for trouble, and it was also underestimating Bing Sai Chuan. Zui Hui did not want to have a frontal fight. It might be a grand legendary immemorial beast, but it was nothing when compared to Longevity Heaven and Giant Sun Immortal Venerable. From the start, it had not thought of forcefully intruding to save Yu Tianguang. The rescue was a technical operation. If it acted rashly, it was likely to fail and even cause himself to get captured. Zui Hui continued to hide and activate a killer move. This opportunity is extremely rare. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable is fighting the other 3 Venerables and has no leisure time to split his concentration. Flower Forest Forbidden Land lured away a rank 8 expert. The specific location of Longevity Heaven's entrance is also exposed. I must make the best use of this time. Zui Hui and Yu Tianguang had a mysterious connection. Relying on this connection, Zui Hui's Dark Path Killer move gradually showed a miraculous effect. Inside Longevity Heaven, Yu Tianguang was imprisoned in Calamity Luck Altar. Suddenly having a sensation, Yu Tianguang lowered its head and looked at its heart. Shortly after, it reacted, roaring and struggling fiercely. Calamity Luck altar shook constantly. The 8 extremities, who were guarding outside, saw this and quickly acted to suppress Yu Tianguang. Yu Tianguang, you have tried so many times but still haven't realized that you can't escape Calamity Luck altar by yourself. Surrendering to my longevity heaven is your only way out. As long as you surrender to longevity heaven, you will be protected by Lord Giant Sun Immortal Venerable. Yu Tianguang roared furiously, return my light Gu. The 8 extremities persuaded, Yu Tianguang, light Gu has always been a wild Gu, it only resided in your body temporarily, how can you call it yours? That's correct. Lord Giant Sun Immortal Venerable won against 2 venerables and seized this Gu, it belongs to my longevity heaven now. You should be grateful to Lord Immortal Venerable and his son, if not for them, you would have already been killed by Star Constellation or Fong Yuan. Yu Tianguang's aura declined rapidly from their suppression, but it still shouted, return my light Gu and I will consider surrendering. The few 8 extremities looked at each other before shaking their heads and strengthening the suppression power of Calamity Luck altar. Finally, Yu Tianguang exhausted all its strength and gave up with reluctance, hatred, and anger as it was suppressed. But this time, it had a new hope. Brother, I am coming to save you, let's discuss the plan first. A lump of black liquid flowed out of Yu Tianguang's heart and turned into the appearance of a mini Zui Yi Hui. Zui Yi Hui paused for a moment before continuing, my killer move has gone through modification and will continue to accumulate strength inside your body. When it has accumulated enough strength, you can use my strength to erupt with all your power. At that time, I will coordinate with you from outside longevity heaven and open a hole in longevity heaven. Yu Tianguang did not feel at ease. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable cannot be underestimated, be careful of him, you must not trap yourself. Zui Yi Hui informed Yu Tianguang of the current situation. Yu Tianguang was exulted, the chaotic battle of 4 venerables will probably last for a long time. This is indeed the best time for me to escape, it is a pity that your arrangements in Flower Forest Forbidden Land only lured away Bing Sai Chuan. Longevity heaven is probably cautious because of Fong Yuan. Fong Yuan's 3 clones are wreaking havoc in Central Continent and the star array calculation formation is already damaged. Zui Yi Hui analyzed. The 2 legendary immemorial beasts conversed secretly, no one in longevity heaven sensed it. Bing Sai Chuan quietly landed in Flower Forest Forbidden Land. He searched all the way and traced the aura to its source, gradually nearing the area where Zui Yi Hui set up the immortal formation. There is trouble. Lu Qingming and Su Guang, who were controlling the formation, sensed Bing Sai Chuan early on. Their expressions were heavy as they knew the severity of the situation. Once they were discovered by Bing Sai Chuan, there would be no way for them to escape. The 2 had thought of surrendering, but they were under the control of Zui Yi Hui's Dark Path method. As long as they even tried to surrender, the Dark Path method would trigger and take their lives. They too had to continue to activate the immortal formation and enlarge the scale of the beast tide, they could not stop for even a while. Otherwise, the Dark Path method would similarly trigger and kill them directly. Zui Yi Hui is using us as cannon fodder. Sigh, I did not expect today that we will die today. Just as the 2 were in despair, the situation suddenly took a turn for the better. Who is it? Bing Sai Chuan stopped, his gaze emitting cold light as he became vigilant. Lin Jianxing's mind jolted slightly. He had come to Flower Forest Forbidden Land secretly and was concealed. His goal was to gather some precious and rare immortal materials to help him complete the Sword Forest Killer move. But then, the beast tide occurred. This was a good thing for Lin Jianxing. The chaotic situation was much more suitable for him to look for benefits. Lin Jianxing entered deep inside the fierce area and ran into Bing Sai Chuan. Although he had pseudo-venerable battle strength, he was not proficient at concealment methods. Fortunately, Bing Sai Chuan looked around a few times before shaking his head. Maybe I was wrong. Bing Sai Chuan whispered softly before continuing forward while inspecting the area. He did not notice any suspicious interference in this beast tide, but he also did not find the reason for the beast tide's outbreak. He followed the traces to their source and gradually neared the Dark Path immortal formation. Right at this time, a group of four-legged white scale snake flew over. The white scale snakes had already turned mad when they discovered Bing Sai Chuan. They attacked immediately without thinking. Bing Sai Chuan's pupils shrank and was about to kill these snakes when a ray of sword chi shot towards him from the left. Bing Sai Chuan was not surprised and quickly acted to block the sword chi while saying to Lin Jianxing, who had revealed himself, "He, I knew there was someone there." Lin Jianxing. Bing Sai Chuan recognized Lin Jianxing. After the 5 Heavenly Court Immortals lost to Lin Jianxing, his appearance was already spread widely. Bing Sai Chuan naturally knew of him. Bing Sai Chuan's brows furrowed tightly. "Lin Jianxing, do you want to stand against my longevity heaven?" Lin Jianxing frowned, but he looked at the group of white scale snakes. "These white scale snakes' tongues are sword path immortal materials that I required. That I came for them this time. Bing Sai Chuan, I seek your understanding." "Is that so?" Bing Sai Chuan was doubtful, but Lin Jianxing was a pseudo-venerable after all. He did not want to start a fight rashly. "These white scale snakes' tongues are indeed rare resources. But don't worry, Lin Jianxing, longevity heaven has many of them in our storage. If you are interested, I am willing to deepen our friendship and gift them to you." "Oh." Lin Jianxing raised his brows slightly. He was just about to consider when a large group of immemorial desolate beasts rushed towards this area. The scene became chaotic immediately. The white scale snakes were only ancient desolate beasts. They were not the match of these immemorial desolate beasts. But it was too late to escape now. Their formation was scattered by the immemorial desolate beasts. Lin Jianxing attacked these immemorial desolate beasts and retrieved as many white scale snake tongues as he could. Bing Sai Chuan observed from the side while urgently contacting longevity heaven to mobilize the harem palaces of northern plains and western desert. He would not easily believe Lin Jianxing's one-sided statement. It was much safer to use immortal Gu houses to face a pseudo-venerable. Back then, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable gathered beauties and constructed 5 harem palaces in the 5 regions which were all immortal Gu houses. A few members of the 8 extremities received the command and immediately flew out of longevity heaven with the immortal Gu houses. Zui Yi Hui was doubtful and happy at this sight. In fact, Lu Qingming and Su Guang still being concealed at this point was already beyond Zui Yi Hui's expectations. Right now, longevity heaven sent 2 immortal Gu houses and several Gu immortals. Their direction was clearly Flower Forest Forbidden Land. Zui Yi Hui could not understand what was going on. But no matter what, his situation had become better than before. After a while, Yu Tianguang roared fiercely, erupting with the accumulated dark path strength and catching the 8 extremities, who were guarding this place, off guard. Yu Tianguang seized this chance and attacked. After 10 breaths of time of stalemate, it was able to charge out of Calamity Luck Altar. It did not escape immediately. Instead, it followed its sense towards a secluded area. The 8 extremities left behind were pale with fright. "Oh no, that is where our prince is resting." Yao Huang had already come out of Blood Sea and wanted to stop Yu Tianguang, but he was a step late. He watched with the newly arrived Mao Li Chiu as Yu Tianguang took Light Emperor and left. Light Emperor was nourishing rank 9 Light Gu with his body. Even under such a drastic situation, he was still like a statue with his eyes closed as if he had lost all perception towards the outside world. "Don't provoke me or I may crush him to death." Yu Tianguang roared loudly. The encircling Gu immortals hesitated and were in a dilemma. "Don't kill him, otherwise when Lord Giant Sun Immortal Venerable returns, you will definitely die." "Yu Tianguang, everything can be discussed, please calm down. Quick, call Bing Sai Chuan and the others to come back." While the longevity heaven Gu immortals were panicking, Yu Tianguang made a move. Zui Yi Hui also came out of hiding in the outside world. The two had a high degree of coordination, directly tearing open a hole in longevity heaven. This hole was not large, but Yu Tianguang had an amazing method. He first swallowed Light Emperor before transforming his body into a lump of light that forced its way through the hole and into the outside world. After appearing in the outside world, the light changed back into Yu Tianguang. Longevity Heaven's Gu immortals gave chase and arrived outside. They saw Yu Tianguang and their expressions turned unsightly when they saw Zui Yi Hui as well. "We fell for their trap." Yao Huang stomped his foot in anger. After Bing Sai Chuan received the news, he looked at Lin Jianxing with narrowed eyes. So it was like this, Brother Lin actually joined hands with Sui Yi Hui. What do you mean? Lin Jianxing was baffled. In the battlefield over the Heaven Path Dream Realms. What? Giant Sun Immortal Venerable had been concentrating on fighting Fong Yuan when he heard this bad news. This situation seems to be created by my nothing is certain except success killer move. The vague luck path sensation stupefied Giant Sun Immortal Venerable. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable wanted to explain the situation to himself, but he was not able to. My killer move should not have a problem, right? I rarely used it in my previous life. I have modified this move recently. Indeed, there should be, probably, not much of an issue. Giant Sun, what happened? As the number one person in Wisdom Path, Star Constellation Immortal Venerable was very perceptive towards the changes of emotions, she asked directly. Nothing, there is no issue. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable shook his hands repeatedly while feeling bitter inwardly. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 23:19, Star Constellation Admits Defeat. Chapter 23:19, Star Constellation Admits Defeat. Heaven and earth was torn apart like a huge opened mouth. Endless lightning exploded and resisted the fierce tornadoes. Meng Qiuzhen floated in the air and observed the land. Lightning, come! He shouted, and at the next moment, tens of thousands of lightning balls fell from the sky and collided with the tornadoes, causing huge explosions. 10 or so tornadoes were destroyed, but there were still about 100 tornadoes which connected the small world sky and ground like giant pillars. Meng Qiuzhen gritted his teeth as he recognized the crucial point. He had to find the location of this dream realm's land spirit as soon as possible and attack it. Otherwise, with so many tornadoes, even if he destroyed all of them, he would have used all his strength, which was detrimental to his future dream realm explorations. With the main body's protection, after experiencing that thrilling moment before, Meng Qiuzhen did not run into any more mishaps. He continued to explore the Heaven Path Dream Realms, not only raising his Heaven Path attainment level greatly but also raising his strength in the Dream Realm Immortal Aperture. He became a heavenly spirit and his methods were at a completely different level than before. Meng Qiuzhen could now control heavenly power and produce strength similar to calamities and tribulations. Moreover, he also found that Heaven Path Dream Realms could annex each other, constantly bringing him risks as well as opportunities in the explorations. Ice, come! Meng Qiuzhen seized the timing, his two small hands spread apart and pressed down. Hailstones rained down heavily from the sky. The hailstones continued to grow bigger every moment, some of them were even as large as a hill in just a few breaths of time. These hailstones fell on the tornadoes and were rapidly swept away. The dark green tornadoes were soon covered by a layer of bluish-white frost and their speed fell sharply. So it was here. Meng Qiuzhen succeeded in weakening the enemy and discovered that there was a white feather flying fish hiding in the leftmost tornado. This white feather flying fish was the heavenly spirit of the other Dream Realm Immortal Aperture. Heaven Path Dream Realms could annex each other. This current manifestation was the result of the two Dream Realm Immortal Apertures annexing each other. As the heavenly spirit of a Dream Realm Immortal Aperture, Meng Qiuzhen had to lead his Dream Realm Immortal Aperture to suppress the other side's Dream Realm Immortal Aperture and even annex it. There was a crucial step in this, that was to find the other side's heavenly spirit and exterminate it. Die. Meng Qiuzhen used one method after the other. The flying fish heavenly spirit got dizzy from seeing all the attacks. Lightning flashed, thunder rumbled, storm brewed, meteors fell, and lava gushed out. All kinds of attacks were thrown out before the flying fish heavenly spirit was finally exterminated. Without the control of the heavenly spirit, the tornadoes still existed but were moving disorderly instead of being orderly like before, immediately becoming non-threatening. At the same time, Meng Qiuzhen's Dream Realm Immortal Aperture also quickened the pace of annexing the enemy Dream Realm Immortal Aperture. With the flying fish heavenly spirit dead, it was like the opposing army's commander was beheaded. They would fall into disorder and be defeated no matter how strong they were. Meng Qiuzhen followed up his victory and finally expanded his dream realm immortal aperture by another area. There is a huge rise in wind path Dao marks, the outcome is pretty good. Another dream realm immortal aperture is coming close. Meng Qiuzhen had not even rested when he saw an indistinct red shadow appear outside the dream realm immortal aperture. The indistinct red shadow covered the sky and ground, obscuring the sun and moon. A huge explosion resounded as it collided with Meng Qiuzhen's dream realm immortal aperture. The immortal aperture's boundary was broken as the two dream realm immortal apertures connected to each other and started a brutal annexing process. Wait, this heavenly spirit is different. Meng Qiuzhen's expression changed slightly as he discovered that the enemy was extremely shrewd and could adapt to the situation easily with plenty of methods that were not fewer than Meng Qiuzhen's. Don't tell me. Profound literature grotto heaven. Qi tides surged and formed tens of thousands of qi monsters everywhere, forming a huge calamity. A large number of mortals in profound literature grotto heaven became corpses under the rampage of the qi monsters. Damn it. We must persevere. These qi monsters are coming endlessly, when will it stop? The Gu immortals of profound literature grotto heaven used all their strength to defend. Old immortal Hua Yu personally entered the battle and was barely able to hold the situation. This was not a heavenly tribulation or earthly calamity, it was the Qi Path killer move that Qi Si ancestor used to attack the star array calculation formation. The star array calculation formation had a large number of formation cores. After a number of the formation cores immortal Gu were destroyed by Fang Yuan's 3 clones, the formation bases were exposed. These formation bases were profound literature grotto heaven, skeleton grotto heaven, and so on. As long as these grotto heavens were destroyed, the star array calculation formation would lose its foundation and collapse completely. If we had known this earlier, why would we try all means possible to defect? Sigh, it is already too late to say this. That we can only hope that Lady Star Constellation Immortal Venerable has enough methods to protect our homeland. These grotto heaven Gu immortals were feeling regret to some extent. Rumble. An explosion rang, Qi currents rampaged like 10,000 horses as Qi Si ancestor gradually appeared inside skeleton grotto heaven. Granny Skeleton was in despair. But before she even asked for help, many rank 8 Heavenly Court Gu immortals arrived in skeleton grotto heaven in immortal Gu houses. Without any delay, a huge battle erupted. Heaven and earth shook, Qi Si rose, golden lights flew, jade water floated in the sky, a large number of killer moves were activated, their aftershock creating huge casualties. Immortal killer move, unlimited Qi Si. Qi Si ancestor continued to gather his momentum before finally using this move. With one move, heaven and earth was overturned, several immortal Gu houses of heavenly court were damaged heavily, one even crumbled apart. Qin Ding Ling and the rest coughed blood repeatedly from the serious injuries. Hold on. Qin Ding Ling shouted. Watch this. Che Wei tried bravely to use offense against offense. Qi Si ancestor was struck by his killer move and suffered some injuries. Immortal killer move, Qi Ju revival. At the next moment, a large number of Qi Path immortal materials was expended as Qi Si ancestor recovered rapidly. The heavenly court Gu immortals turned pale. Let's end this. Qi Si ancestor gave a shout and activated the killer move, Hu elevation. Towering and terrifying Qi pillars shot out, directly piercing through skeleton grotto heaven. Granny Skeleton's eyes were wide open and had no time to dodge, she was annihilated by the Qi pillar with not even a small piece of her remaining. Skeleton grotto heaven was heavily damaged and started to produce the winds of assimilation. The heavenly court Gu immortals left from the large hole while Qi Si ancestor gave chase. Star Constellations will saw this from inside Embroidered Tower and was about to make a move when Jean Boudou charged inside the formation space. It is here after all. Wu Shui was happy. He controlled ants to infiltrate the depths of the star array calculation formation and forcibly drilled a pathway from which Jean Boudou squeezed inside. The Gu immortals inside the formation space were mostly from 10 great ancient sects. Although they were all elites, they were still far from reaching the level of Heavenly Court's members. Even the Heavenly Court Gu immortals could not easily fight a pseudo-venerable, let alone them. Jean Boudou Star Constellations will heave a sigh. She could only give up on targeting Qi Si Ancestor and activated Embroidered Tower to block Jean Boudou. After a period of stalemate, Fang Yuan's 3 clones finally created an opening and started destroying the star array calculation formation as easily as cutting bamboo. Heavenly Court was beaten back again and again without getting any chance to stabilize their footing. This news immediately reached Star Constellation Immortal Venerable. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable sighed as she activated 2 human path killer moves. One was Heroes Among People and the other was Hope of the People. Divine Emperor City, which was the largest human vein node of Central Continent, released countless white light. The countless specks and lumps of light were like lanterns or candles. These lights moved like fish or birds returning to their homes, landing in all of the Gu immortals inside the star array calculation formation, forming a dense white radiance. The white radiance started to shrink while the Gu immortals' auras started to grow. Just like in the Fate War, they received a huge amplification once again. As expected, Star Constellation Immortal Venerable used this move. It hasn't crossed Lord Alliance leader's calculations. Lu Wei-yin was watching Divine Emperor City from some distance with a moved expression. She is using the same ability again. It means she ran out of tricks. Shen Shang smiled lightly as he attacked Divine Emperor City with Lu Wei-yin. Genesis Lotus Will and Qing Cho were guarding Divine Emperor City. As they were attacked by 2 experts, they could only stop supporting the 2 human path killer moves and defend themselves. Spectral Heaven Battlefield. The white radiance formed from the human path killer moves similarly covered Giant Sun Immortal Venerable and Star Constellation Immortal Venerable. The 2 received the amplification. Their strength rose by a huge degree. As expected of human path methods, even a venerable like me can benefit from it. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable clicked his tongue in praise. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable frowned. There are almost no heaven path dream realms left. We've lost this battle. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 2320, like it was nothing. Chapter 2320, like it was nothing. The battle over the Heaven Path Dream Realms was started by Fang Yuan. In this battle, Fang Yuan revealed new killer moves like Arrival of Dragon Snake with Dust Fog and Explosive Soul Wind, Shocking Departure of Year Dream Wave and Dang Hun Sound, and Heavenly Ghost Concealment. 7 Kills Rainbow, Sword Tongue Dragon Soul, and other killer moves were greatly improved, and there were also obscured Heavenly Secret and Heavenly Web Protection Veil that was supporting Fang Yuan secretly. Thus, Fang Yuan gained the upper hand in the battle. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable and Giant Sun Immortal Venerable had no choice but to join hands to match him. However, because Fang Yuan needed to protect Meng Qiuzhen, Star Constellation Immortal Venerable, who had Chaotic Intent Dispels Dream Killer move, gradually gained the initiative. At the same time, Fang Yuan's strength made Giant Sun Immortal Venerable wary. No matter how Fang Yuan tried to persuade him, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable was firm on stopping Fang Yuan from obtaining the Heaven Path Dream Realms. As a result, Fang Yuan ordered his subordinates to attack Central Continent's important areas to harass Star Constellation Immortal Venerable. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable saw through Fang Yuan's plan and did not return to defend Central Continent. To continue hiding his strength and pretend to have a shortage of immortal essence, Fang Yuan angered Spectral Soul Demon Venerable and lured him into battle. He used Heavenly Ghost Concealment Killer move to become half an alliance made of Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. Fang Yuan's scheme succeeded. Because of Spectral Soul Demon Venerable disrupting the situation, Star Constellation Immortal Venerable and Giant Sun Immortal Venerable were not able to emit enough pressure on Feng Yuan. But conversely, Star Constellation Immortal Venerable was continued to be interrupted by Feng Yuan and had no more opportunities to harm Meng Qiuzhen. Even when Star Constellation Immortal Venerable used two powerful human path killer moves, it was hard to change the battle situation. The battle situation was in a stalemate, and as time passed, Heaven Path Dream Realms annexed each other and were mostly absorbed by Feng Yuan. Feng Yuan's gains in this battle far surpassed Giant Sun Immortal Venerable and Star Constellation Immortal Venerable. On the contrary, among the two Venerables, one lost his eldest son and rank 9 Light Gu, while the others painstakingly created the star array calculation formation was almost destroyed. Over 10 Central Continent Gu immortals were killed, and even Heavenly Courts Gu immortals were in a dangerous situation. This made Star Constellation Immortal Venerable come to a complete realization: Feng Yuan had won a huge victory in this battle. No matter how miserable he looked now, he was the person who reaped the most benefits. Whether Feng Yuan still has trump cards or not, or if he really lacks immortal essence, at the end of it, the crucial factor of this battle was Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable looked at the heavily injured Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. She was reluctant, furious, and also helpless. Since long ago, she had wanted to get rid of Spectral Soul Demon Venerable but never succeeded. There was a good opportunity before, but Feng Yuan disturbed them. It was mainly thanks to Feng Yuan that Spectral Soul Demon Venerable could still stay alive. In this battle, Feng Yuan used Spectral Soul Demon Venerable to obtain huge gains. This proved how far-sighted he was. Spectral Soul Demon Venerable's injuries were mostly received in place of Feng Yuan. He had less than 1,000 arms left, his enormous body had shrunk by 60%, and even his roar sounded hoarse and soft. Maybe, this is a chance to get rid of Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable had this thought. Spectral Soul Demon Venerable was a huge obstruction. Although Star Constellation Immortal Venerable controlled Spectral Soul Demon Venerable before, she was much clearer than others that Spectral Soul Demon Venerable, who was filled with heaven's will, could not longer be controlled by her. Sometimes, Star Constellation Immortal Venerable admired Feng Yuan's craftiness and sinisterness, that he was able to successfully turn Spectral Soul Demon Venerable into half an alliance mate. Although Spectral Soul Demon Venerable had lost his senses, under Feng Yuan's Heavenly Ghost Concealment Killer move, he was even more dependable than ordinary alliance mates and was also easier to be made use of. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable then looked at Giant Sun Immortal Venerable. Although the two Venerables had allied, there was always deep vigilance between Giant Sun Immortal Venerable and her. Looking back at this battle, even though Giant Sun Immortal Venerable used his full strength, it was of little effect on Feng Yuan. It instead cost Central Continent a lot. The comparison showed a stark contrast. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable would rather have the irrational Spectral Soul Demon Venerable as her alliance mate than be allies with a sane Giant Sun Immortal Venerable. But if she wanted to get rid of Spectral Soul Demon Venerable now, she still had to get Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's help. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable immediately transmitted her voice: Giant Sun, there is no need to care about Feng Yuan now. Let's join hands to get rid of Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. As you can see from the current situation, we cannot let this Venerable continue living. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable deeply agreed with these words. He felt that they were not able to deal with Feng Yuan mainly because of Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. These two's combination truly gave him a headache. Naturally, Feng Yuan could ally with Spectral Soul Demon Venerable because of Heavenly Ghost Concealment Killer move. As long as this move was broken, it was the same as breaking the alliance between Feng Yuan and Spectral Soul. But Giant Sun Immortal Venerable was also aware that even if he broke it this time, Feng Yuan could continue to modify it. Feng Yuan was a refinement path venerable. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable did not think highly of his modification abilities before. But after this battle, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable, who was baptized by killer moves like shocking departure of Ye Dream Wave and Dang Hun Sound and arrival of Dragon Snake with Dust Fog and explosive Soul Wind, changed his perception fully. Right now, in his opinion, Feng Yuan's wisdom path attainment was already above him. Even when looking at all the Venerables, besides Limitless Demon Venerable, Feng Yuan was right below Star Constellation Immortal Venerable. So, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable did not want to play the pointless game of unraveling, modifying, then unraveling again before modifying again with Fang Yuan. It is a good idea indeed to kill Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. We can end this problem once and for all. Fang Yuan will have no alliance mate left. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable transmitted his reply to Star Constellation. Moreover, Fang Yuan lacks immortal essence right now, but we are different that it will be much more difficult for him to protect Spectral Soul Demon Venerable now that if he exhausts all his strength to protect the latter, he may land in a predicament with just a slight carelessness. At that time, we can then target him and even create an opportunity to behead this heaven. Refining Demon Venerable. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable was not as optimistic as Giant Sun Immortal Venerable. She replied, Fang Yuan will never throw himself in a predicament to protect Spectral Soul. The two Venerables reached a consensus and focused all their attacks on Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. They made this decision indeed. Fang Yuan revealed a troubled expression but was getting increasingly excited inwardly. Spectral Soul Demon Venerable fought fiercely with the two Venerables, and with Fang Yuan's help from the side, both sides would suffer. But in the end, Spectral Soul Demon Venerable would probably die. After all, Spectral Soul Demon Venerable was filled with heaven's will. He did not have any sanity and used immortal killer moves randomly. It was really too much of a disadvantage. But like this, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable and Star Constellation Immortal Venerable would also be weakened greatly. This was a great opportunity to get rid of two Venerables. As long as they did not escape to their headquarters, Fang Yuan had certainty to kill one of them with his full strength. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable wanted to kill Spectral Soul Demon Venerable, but Giant Sun Immortal Venerable was thinking of a chance to get rid of Fang Yuan, while Fang Yuan was also plotting to get rid of the two. Spectral Soul Demon Venerable was attacked by the full strength of the two Venerables. His injuries continued to become more severe. Many of his large black arms were broken, leaving behind only 300. Go! Giant Sun Immortal Venerable suddenly threw a golden meteor. The meteor struck Spectral Soul Demon Venerable and destroyed one of his heads. Out of his 3 heads, only one remained now that he was forced into a desperate situation with danger everywhere around him, but Fang Yuan still attacked steadily, deliberately maintaining the frequency of his attacks. Spectral Soul Demon Venerable roared furiously. A large blue fire burned on his body. But this fire was not burning hot, instead, it let out a strong chill. The temperature dropped rapidly. Rank 9 Fire Gu finally could not sit still. It felt the danger to its host's life and finally used its strength. It was rank 9 after all. All 3 Venerables retreated. Even Fang Yuan, who had Heavenly Ghost Concealment, was the same. Fang Yuan relied on this killer move to deceive Spectral Soul Demon Venerable, but he could not deceive rank 9 Fire Gu. After all, it was a Gu worm and not a soul beast. Spectral Soul Demon Venerable remained still. The blue fire quickly spread, forcing the 3 Venerables to continue retreating. The fire expanded towards the Heaven Path Dream Realms. The Dream Realms shrunk rapidly and were actually being burned. Fang Yuan's eyes shone with a sharp light as he thought. The legends of Renzu stated that Dream Realms are restrained by Fire Gu. Looks like it is true. He felt that it was a pity. While fighting with the Venerables, his Heaven Path attainment level had already advanced from Grandmaster to Great Grandmaster level. Moreover, he had not just stepped into Great Grandmaster, his accumulation was already deep and robust. If Fang Yuan absorbed all of the Heaven Path Dream Realms here, he might even be able to advance to Supreme Grandmaster level. Even if he could not, he had a high possibility of becoming a quasi-Supreme Grandmaster. However, most of the remaining Heaven Path Dream Realms were destroyed by Fire Gu. This is an opportunity, Giant Sun. Looking at this scene, Star Constellation Immortal Venerable started preparing Chaotic Intent Dispel's Dream Killer move. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable did not protect Star Constellation Immortal Venerable, instead, charging towards the Heaven Path Dream Realms. Fang Yuan immediately fell into a dilemma of advancing or retreating. Within the spark of a moment, he made a decision. He gave up on Star Constellation Immortal Venerable and pounced upon Giant Sun Immortal Venerable. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable was blocked by Fang Yuan. The 2 Venerables fought fiercely. In this process, the Heaven Path Dream Realms were burned by the fire, there was almost none left up, be it Fairy Ziwei, Ing Wuxia or Meng Qiuzhen, they were all burning. While Fang Yuan obstructed Giant Sun, he was also getting closer to the Heaven Path Dream Realms. Seeing this, he immediately gave up on Giant Sun Immortal Venerable and went in the direction of his Dream Path clone. Meng Qiuzhen's eyes were closed and would not wake up in a short while. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable saw Fang Yuan ignoring him and leaving, he shouted in fury, "Fang Yuan, such audacity, I will make you pay." At the next moment, hundreds of golden meteors shot out together. Their power was so terrifying that even heaven and earth changed colors. At the same time, Star Constellation Immortal Venerable finally finished preparing her killer move and activated Chaotic Intent Dispels Dream. She directly attacked Meng Qiuzhen. Bam 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 bam. The golden meteors struck Fang Yuan and Meng Qiuzhen, explosions rang continuously, shaking the world. Terrifying air waves rampaged in every direction. The golden lights dissipated, Fang Yuan and Meng Qiuzhen were moving down extremely quickly. Ha! Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's eyes almost popped out, Fang Yuan was not even injured at all. What kind of defensive killer move was this? Oh no! Star Constellation Immortal Venerable's expression changed greatly. Fang Yuan was headed toward Central Continent. As for Meng Qiuzhen, he was already awake and had activated Dream Armor Gu to protect himself. At the same time, his body was covered by a layer of rippling reverse flow protection seal. Through Fang Yuan's modification, reverse flow protection seal could help others as well and was not limited to himself. With 2 layers of defense, Meng Qiuzhen, just like the main body, took on Star Constellation Immortal Venerable's killer move like it was nothing. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible.